Welcome to Make Peace with Food. I'm your host, Emily LaVoie, a certified eating psychology coach. I own a virtual private practice, and I work with clients all over the world, one-on-one and in group programs, to help heal their relationship with food and improve body image. Here at Make Peace with Food, we believe food is not your enemy, that eating should be fun and bring you joy and pleasure, not stress and guilt. To keep this a safe space, I will try my best to avoid mentioning numbers like calories and weight, as well as other potentially triggering content, but you know yourself best, so please avoid any episode topics that may not feel helpful to where you're at in your healing journey. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes. It's not a replacement for medical or mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment, nor does it provide a client or patient relationship. Consult your own provider on any changes you're thinking about making. Today's episode is brought to you by my one-on-one coaching. If you're curious about becoming a client and want to learn more about what it looks and feels like to receive support in healing your relationship with food and improving your body image, go to my website, emily-lavoie.com, to schedule a free 30-minute Zoom consultation. Welcome to episode 12. In today's episode, we are going to be, I'm going to be sharing an exercise that you can do that will really help you to improve your body image if you choose to do it. If you choose not to do it, your body image will not improve because of it. Kind of like all behaviors, you actually have to engage in them to see the improvement. And if you don't engage in them, then you just kind of stay the same. So it's your choice. But before we dive into that, just a quick update. I think I mentioned in the last episode, I am a huge hand talker. So when I talk, my hands are like moving like crazy, kind of all over the place. And I'm kind of dealing with an annoying just wear and tear injury. My elbow has been bothering me, and I received some treatment to my elbow. And I've had a lot of success with other injuries with this form of treatment. It's called prolotherapy. So if you're dealing with like some chronic pain, I suggest you look into it. But it's weird because my elbow hurts. I got these injections, prolotherapy injections into my elbow. I know I will be better and as good as new very soon. My body will heal. But in the meantime, I'm having to wear a wrist brace because my doctor said, like, until your elbow starts to feel better, I don't want you moving your wrist, which doesn't make sense to my brain. And everyone keeps asking me like, oh no, what happened to your wrist? I'm like, it's weird to say, like, it's not my wrist. Actually, it's my elbow. The cool thing is that like when I can't move my wrist, my elbow doesn't hurt. So the knee bone's connected to the elbow bone. The kinetic chain, human body, so interesting. I love it. We're going to dive into this exercise that I want to walk you guys through. And like I said, if you do this regularly and have more awareness around these thoughts, we can start seeing over time a humongous improvement to body image. And I would say, gosh, out of all of the things and all of the work I have done to improve my body image, this is probably one of the things that ended up having the largest impact and positive improvement to my body image. So I'm wishing you the same results. It's not always easy, but it's so worth it. There's like a happy life and peace on the other side where you can accept your body. I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll just kind of reiterate that positive body image doesn't necessarily mean you're obsessed with your appearance. You love the way your body looks. You love your body's weight, size, shape. You love your skin. You love your hair. It just means that your thoughts about your appearance don't make or break you. So they're not holding you back from living a great life. And you can accept your appearance, even if you don't love how it looks every second of every day. You can still treat your body with respect and kindness. So that's kind of what we're looking for when we're looking for body image improvements. Before we dive into the exercise, we're going to do kind of just like a small other exercise first. Okay. You can do this in your head or you can write it down. I think writing it down, there's a lot of power in that to me. So if you want to do it the powerful way, get a pen, get a piece of paper, push pause, come back. or just do this in your head with me. So think of your best friend, your very best friend. You've got their name in your head and you're envisioning them. And now the next thing I want you to do is, like, when you envision this friend, think about why you like them and why you're drawn to them and what makes you feel connected to them. So I'm thinking of my best friend who happens to live pretty far away, so I don't get to see her that regularly. But when I think about the things that make me want to be friends with her, is we have a lot of similar interests. We also kind of come from a similar background. We probably have similar childhood experiences, and we were probably kind of raised by similar parents. So we have a lot of commonalities in those ways. My very favorite thing about her is I can tell her the most absolute off the wall thing, and she would never judge me. She's never judging me. She's always offering unconditional love, unconditional acceptance. Another thing that I really love about her is that I know my secrets are safe with her. Like, she's got so much dirt on me. I've got so much dirt on her. I would never spill her dirt. And I trust from the bottom of my heart, she would never spill my dirt either. She has this beautiful smile. She never had braces, so her teeth are not perfect, but just like her smile makes me smile. Her laugh makes me laugh. We have like some similar interests and hobbies, and we're passionate about some similar things in life. And oh my gosh, another thing that I love about her. And again, like, we used to live in the same area. Now we live kind of on opposite sides of the US. She was always like my friend who was just down for anything. Like, hey, do you want to go to a concert tonight? Yeah, let's do it. And she, hey, I've always really wanted to get a blowout or try cryotherapy. Yeah, let's do it. Hey, do you want to take like an aerial yoga class or like an aerobic pole dancing? Yes, let's do it. We would go back and forth. Like, I've always wanted to do this. I don't want to do it by myself because it would be more fun. Like, we've taken jewelry making classes together, just all kinds of things. Like, we'll just kind of try anything once. If we hate it, we will never do it again. But if we like it, then maybe that's something that we would pursue. So you guys are kind of formulating things you like about your best friend and things that draw you to them, things you appreciate about them, things that build connection between the two of you. I'm guessing that none of you said, I like her because she has a teeny tiny waist. I like her because her skin is very clear. I like her because she has a thigh gap. I like her because of where her weight is on the BMI chart, right? I'm sure like your best friend, it's like, I love them at such a deeper level than their appearance. I love them because of their heart. I love them because of their morals or values, or because we connect and have these similar interests. And it really probably has nothing to do with their appearance or how they look. Like, meaning, if their appearance happened to change, you would love them just as much. You wouldn't be like, oh, I don't want to be your friend anymore because you look different now, because that's pretty shallow, right? And we're our friends. We have such a deeper connection, like, meaning, yeah, we just love them to their depths, not for the shallow reasons. You would never be like, I don't want to be your friend anymore because you changed categories on the BMI. I don't want to be your friend anymore because you're getting gray hair, you're getting wrinkles. It's like, no, you love them regardless of their appearance. That's what friendship is. Unconditional love. Believe it or not, the people in your life who love and adore and connect with you also love and adore and connect with you on things that are like much deeper than your appearance. I want you to remember that, like, the people in your life who love and care for you, they're not going to stop loving and caring for you if your appearance changes, if your weight has changed, if your body size has changed, if your hair color has changed, if you have more fine lines and wrinkles. They are going to love and care for you regardless of your appearance, because just like you like your friends for something so much deeper than their appearance, they also like you for something so much deeper than your appearance. As adults, we do not often or commonly use our imagination. Something we do more often as children. So it might be a really long time since you've used your imagination or played pretend or make-believe, but I'm going to ask you to do it now. So let's go. A lot of times, the things we don't like about ourself are shallower things such as our appearance, our weight, our body size. Maybe we wish we were taller or shorter, or we wish we didn't have glasses, or we wish we did have glasses, or we wished our hair was blonde, or we wished our hair was curly, right? It's about appearance-based things. And the inner dialogue or the voice inside of our head that talks to us, kind of like our internal bully, beats us up about things related to our appearance, that we feel like our life would be better. We would be better people if we looked different. So I want you to think about this voice in your head. And what we're going to do today is create an identity for this voice in your head. So I want to preface this by saying that some people have a lot of different voices in their head. Some people kind of just have one. We want to think about like the ways that you are struggling with body image the most. For me, back in the day, I really the wheels fell off and I went in this downward spiral when I was trying to pick out clothes. The internal dialogue in my head would just have a complete meltdown, and I would kind of have a tantrum and just lose it, come unglued. So for me, I was thinking about the internal dialogue or what the voice inside of my head was saying to me as I was trying to pick out an outfit to wear to an event. Some people have lots of different voices in their head. So I'm going to give you an example of a client I had one time. She had lots of different internal voices, and she did such a good job with this exercise because she was like, well, there's this voice in my head that if I'm upset with myself for not exercising, then it's this type of voice that talks to me. And she called that voice Jillian Michaels, and she had an identity. So when that voice started talking to her, she could see, I think for her, it was actually Jillian Michaels, screaming in her face. And then she had a different voice that talked to her when she wasn't eating the way that diet culture had taught her she, quote unquote, should be eating. And it was a different voice. Okay. And then she had a different voice for when she looked at herself in the mirror, and a different voice for when she felt like she wasn't being as productive as she should be, or a different voice telling her that maybe she shouldn't be applying for this promotion because of something to do with her body. So pick one for right now. Then you can do the rest of this on your own if you feel yeah, I have actually a lot of different voices that talk to me in different scenarios and different situations. I want you to ask yourself, this voice that talks to you, think of just some of the things that it commonly says to you. You can jot them down. Some examples would be, maybe you're so ugly, or you're such a failure, or why can't you do anything right, or why can't you follow this diet? Why do you keep binge eating? Why did you eat all of that ice cream and potato chips last night? So think of some of the things it says to you. And the first question I want you to ask, you can write it down, you don't have to, is this voice a human? Because we're using our imagination, it can take on not a human persona. So I don't want to put thoughts in your head, but you're allowed to be creative. It could be character from a movie. It could be an animal. It could be a robot. It could be an alien. It could be something from a horror movie. It's your imagination. So is it a human or not a human? Yes or no? Question number 2, if it is a human, is it a more male, masculine voice, or is it more the persona of a female or feminine voice? You could maybe explain what does the voice sound like? Is it really high pitched, really low pitched? I'm guessing it's not kind. I'm guessing it's pretty mean. Okay, so once we have the answer to that question, the next thing we want to do is just like, again, you're using your imagination. So if you don't know and you can't see it, you can just make it up because we are creating an identity. So I want you just to explain, what does it look like? So you hear this voice in your head. What are you going to start seeing when you hear this voice? So what kind of outfit is it wearing? What kind of shoes is it wearing? What's their hair? Do they have glasses? What is, their personality like? Are they very frantic and urgent and worried? Or like, do they always have like this angry face with their eyebrows down and, the wrinkles in between your eyebrows coming together and like there's steam coming out of their ears, or they're super worried all of the time? Are they always really frustrated? What I want you to do as you're thinking of these things or writing these things down, make it so detailed that if you were to explain it to me or somebody else, they could actually see what it is that you see. So again, I don't want to like put my ideas in your head, but when I am trying to get dressed and kind of used to be having like total meltdowns, my identity of this voice in my head or this negative self-talk that would start, going off the walls and off the chains. It was like a probably 60 or 70-year-old woman. She was wearing a brown dress with white polka dots and kind of just like, I hate to say this, but like not stylish shoes, like maybe like orthotic type shoes that you would envision, like maybe like a geriatric person wearing. And she had gray hair and it was like very frizzy, but as she would get more and more like unhinged, her hair would actually start getting more and more frizzy the more frantic she got. And she had these like little glasses and you could actually see her blood pressure rising. Like she would kind of start out a little bit calmer, but then as like, I tried on one outfit and hated it, she would like start getting more and more urgent. Like her face would start getting more and more red and like her eyes would start bulging. And then like the more outfits I tried on that I didn't like her eyeballs would start bulging out more and her hair was frizzy more and her face was getting more like red and angry. So that is what my voice in my head looked like specifically when I was like having these meltdowns with picking out outfits. Okay. So take as much time as you need. Like I said, if you don't know or you can't see it, just make it up because it's your imagination and you get to do that. So cool. The next thing we want to do is we've got the identity created. We can see this voice of sort of our internal dialogue or our inner bully from when we're struggling with poor body image thoughts. We want to just come up with something we can refer to this voice as. So basically name it, which could be a human name or just something that you want to refer to it as. Like some people call theirs their inner bully. Some people refer to this identity as like their avatar. Some people refer to it as their mean girl voice. One time I had a client who referred to this as like Kristen Cavallari, like very like valley girl, judgmental. And I think that's also like the image she saw. I had another client that called it like Darth Vader. I call mine my crazy lady. That's kind of what I just like, shut up, crazy lady. When I talk to her, I just call her crazy lady. So you can call this voice whatever you want. If you don't have any ideas, you can sleep on it. You can always come back to it, but we do need to like refer to it as something. The next thing I want you to think about or write down, writing down is super helpful. 3 things that you like about yourself. As you write them down or as you list them off, I actually want you to envision this identity that you just created. So for me, I'm envisioning my crazy lady, that 70-year-old, just frantic, brown dress, white polka dots, gray, frizzy hair, just getting more and more frantic. I want you to actually envision that saying these 3 things. So you're thinking of 3 things you like about yourself or 3 things you appreciate about yourself or giving yourself 3 compliments. Could be compliments about your appearance, could be compliments about like who you are as a person, like at your core, or kind of a balance would actually be nice, but you're envisioning them coming from the identity that you just created, okay? This is really hard. For a lot of people, it's like nearly impossible to think about things they like or appreciate or enjoy about themselves. Let me give you an example of what mine might have sounded like in the beginning when I first started putting this exercise into practice. I washed my hair today, so my hair looks somewhat decent. I guess I like my ankles. My ankles are all right. And number 3, I'm a good friend. So that's kind of an example of what 3 might have sounded like right when I first started doing this exercise myself. And I envisioned those words coming out of the mouth of my crazy lady. Like I envisioned her saying them to me. So whatever 3 you just came up with, or if you're struggling, you can always hit pause and come back and hit play once you've come up with 3. You can never use those 3 again. Those 3 are done. They're off the table. So this is where this kind of gets challenging because every single time we do this, we're going to have to come up with 3 new things. So what we have to start doing is having a lot of awareness of when this negative internal dialogue or the identity that we just created shows up and starts yapping at us. We have to get good at catching it. So for me, that would sound like, oh my gosh, I wish you could see me. I'm doing that thing where you like have 2 fingers, like your index finger and your middle finger, like almost like a peace sign, but pointing at your eyes and pointing back and forth, like I see you. So it would be like when Crazy Lady was talking to me, and it was never very kind. It was always like unhinged and just completely so mean, inner bully. I would be like, I see you, Crazy Lady. I know you're here right now. Shut up. You are not allowed to talk to me like that anymore. And then when you catch her, you have to make her or it, whatever, say 3 brand new compliments or things you appreciate about who you are or your body, how it functions, who you are at your core, and you can't repeat them. And this is really tough at first. I totally get this because you kind of are like, well, she just shows up all the time. She's just always been there. I have no control of her. You don't have control of her because you've never practiced having control of her. What we're trying to do is for the first time in our life, practice controlling her. And it takes practice. It's really challenging at first. And so this is actually what it's going to look like when you first start doing this. Maybe you're driving your car or something and you're like, oh, shoot, when I was getting dressed today, Crazy Lady was there and I was supposed to make her give me 3 compliments or say 3 kind things. And I didn't even realize she was there. Totally normal. But now that I'm driving, I realize like she was there and I didn't do the thing I was supposed to do. That's okay. Just do it in the car as you're driving, but still envision her, keep your eyes open, and envision her saying the 3 kind things about you or 3 things you appreciate about yourself. Even like rewind and do it in the current moment, even if it happened in the past. That's perfectly okay. You're going to get better and better and better at catching it or her when she's there talking to you in the moment. And you're going to be able to be like, hey, I see you. You're here right now. Shut the hell up. You're not allowed to talk to me like that anymore. I know that this is so incredibly hard. I know that, gosh, it takes so much work to come up with 3 new things. There's not that many things I like or appreciate about myself. Like one of the things I really like about myself is like I compost. I have a compost bin. Like I could do like, yeah, I like that I compost. I like that I was thinking of my friend who I know is going through a hard time and dropped off some soup on her porch just to cheer her up. I like that I sent my friend a text message the other day just to let them know I was thinking about them. So like it can be just really random things, anything that you like or appreciate about yourself, your body, your appearance, your personality. Sky's the limit. But this is super tough. And if you do it, you're going to benefit from it. Because it is so hard, eventually your inner bully will start being like, dang, every time I show up, she makes me like do this really hard thing of like saying these things that they're really hard to come up with. So I'm just going to stop showing up. And that's how it works. Like if you do it because it's so hard and you start catching your inner bully in the moment, the inner bully is like, I'm just going to stay away. I'm just not going to say negative things because every time I show up, she makes me do this really hard thing. So I'm just going to stay away. If you don't do this, but you know it works, you won't get any of the benefits from it. You actually have to do the hard work of doing it. It's really annoying. So I'm to the point now, and I have a lot of clients that are to this point where their inner bully or like my crazy lady will show up and maybe she's starting to say some like unkind things. And now it's to the point, because I've been doing this for so long, she shows up so rarely, almost never. But I will be like, hey, I see you. I know you're here. You got 5 minutes. Get it all out. Because after this 5 minutes is up, I am shutting you down. I have another client that I thought this was really cool. She gave her inner bully like some rules. She would allow her inner bully to say whatever it needed to say to her that was negative when she was brushing her teeth. So she'd brush her teeth in the morning and she'd brush her teeth in the evening. And so if she happened to be driving to work or picking out an outfit or eating something, and she would, notice that, oh, you're here. I hear you. You're talking to me right now. I see you. She'd be like, shut it down. I'm not brushing my teeth right now. You can, tonight, when I'm brushing my teeth, we can revisit these thoughts, but right now is not your time and place. So kind of just like creating some parameters for when you have negative thoughts about yourself. But then also reminding yourself that the people in your life who love you and care about you and connect with you, your friends, partners, coworkers, they love you for such deeper things than your appearance, the same exact reasons that you love the people in your life who you love. That's such a deeper level than anything appearance-based. So that can be a helpful reminder too. Do this. I promise that over time, your body image will improve, because a lot of this work that we do with food, with eating, with body image is just about changing our thoughts. Because our thoughts are not facts. And we want to change our negative thoughts and silence them and replace them with positive thoughts about our appearance, about our eating. We'll talk more about the thoughts of food and eating, lots more in future episodes. But if you do this, it'll work. If you don't do it, you won't receive the positive benefits, but you do you, boo. Have a great day. That's the show. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed it, I'd be so grateful if you take a minute to follow or subscribe to the podcast and leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, or whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps others to find the podcast and continue spreading this important information to more people who need to hear it. This podcast is made possible by paid supporters at patreon.com/makepeacewithfood. They're truly what keep this show going so that I can pay my assistant, editor, producer, and allow me to keep sharing all of this content and doing this important and needed work with you all. Go to patreon.com/makepeacewithfood to sign up for as little as $3 per month. Make Peace with Food is hosted by me, Emily LaVoie. It's produced and edited by Jake Lamore at Pathfinder. Thank you so much for your support.